Welcome back. You're watching part 2 of our Final Destination Bloodlines movie recap. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, be sure to check it out, there's a link in the description. Let's dive in. Iris dies in front of Stephanie in a gruesome and terrifying way. At her funeral, Stephanie warns her family that Iris had predicted death was coming for all of them. Suddenly, Stephanie's estranged mother, Darlene, arrives unexpectedly, stirring up old tensions. Stephanie refuses to reconnect with her, blaming her for abandoning the family. Shaken, Stephanie returns home and begins studying the book Iris left behind. As the family socializes, a series of narrowly avoided accidents unfold, hinting that death is actively trying to strike again. The tension builds until Uncle Howard steps on broken glass from the tainted drink. A freak accident involving a pressurized hose and falling tools leads to his death. At Howard's funeral, Stephanie tells Charlie that she's used Iris's book to track the people who were present at Skyview the night of the original premonition. One by one, all those survivors have died in the same order Iris foresaw. Stephanie warns her cousins that their grandmother Iris's death wasn't random. She reveals that death is targeting Iris's bloodline in a specific order, by family branch and age. Her cousins dismiss the warning, believing it's just more of Iris's old superstition. Darlene admits she understands how convincing these things can seem and assures Stephanie that it's not real. Stephanie, feeling abandoned again, walks away. Later, Eric is working alone at his tattoo shop when a series of chain reaction events nearly lead to his death in a fire. However, he survives with only a burn on his arm, suggesting the pattern may have been broken. But when Julia later mocks Stephanie's warning, she ends up getting crushed in a garbage truck moments after. Her death shocks the family, and they begin to accept that Stephanie might be right. Eric, however, remains skeptical, until Aunt Brenda reveals he isn't Howard's biological son, explaining why death skipped him. With the order now confirmed and Bobby next, the family becomes fearful. Darlene remembers a man named J.B., a doctor Iris wrote about in letters. They locate the hospital he worked at, about an hour away. The family decides to go there together, hoping to learn how to break the deadly chain. They visit William Bloodworth, the boy Iris once saved, who reveals he was meant to die back then. Iris protected him and her family for years, and he helped her build defenses at the cabin. He confirms that death's pattern is real, and there are only two ways to break the cycle. Kill someone and take their remaining time. Or die and be revived, as Kimberly Corman once did. William, however, has given up hope and warns them that challenging death is dangerous. Eric, desperate to save Bobby, devises a plan: exploit Bobby's walnut allergy to induce death, then bring him back with a syringe. During the attempt, they're in a radiation room, and a machine activates. Eric is pulled into the machine and dies. Bobby barely manages to revive himself, only to be killed instantly by a falling metal bar. The survivors head to Iris's cabin, hoping it'll protect them like it did before. As they arrive, an explosion kills Darlene and Stephanie is thrown into the water, drowning while still strapped in. Charlie rescues and revives her, successfully bringing her back to life. Stephanie realizes that, like Kimberly, her temporary death broke the cycle. However, days later, Stephanie's dad introduced them to a doctor who informs them that Stephanie's heart never stopped, so she never died. Stephanie then realizes that death's pattern is still active. A small act, a coin stuck on train tracks, causes a derailment that kills both Stephanie and her brother. Death's pattern is broken. But the force itself remains active, relentless, and watching.